So I said before, I'm going to install this into VirtualBox as a virtual machine. I'm going to go ahead and create that now. If you're going to install this in a physical box, you can go ahead and skip over this portion of the setup. In the VirtualBox Manager, I'll click the New button. On the Create New Virtual Machine wizard, on the Welcome screen, I'll click Next. I'll select Windows 8 64-bit for the operating system version. We'll call this Jag Win 8. Next. Give this 1 gig of RAM. Create a new startup disk. I like to use VMDKs because they're compatible back and forth with VMware a little bit easier. Click the Next button. Do a dynamic allocation. 20 gigs, and I'm going to select a new location. I like to store all of mine on a secondary disk. Gives a little better performance. Create a new folder. Save. Next. And create. Just because it's easier, I'm going to connect this virtual machine to the ISO image we downloaded, not actually to the USB drive. But the steps will be exactly the same. Okay, you can go ahead and start this. Okay, on the Windows Setup screen, we can change the language if we like, as well as the time and currency format, and the keyboard. The defaults are all good. Click Next, and then click the Install Now button. On the Enter the Product Key to Activate Windows screen, we have to enter the product key to be able to continue. Back on the screen where we downloaded it. Now without the VMware tools, I can't just copy and paste that over. So I'm going to have to move that down and then copy that by hand over. The key that everybody uses for the English version here is all going to be the same. So it's DNJXJ 7XBW8 2378T X22TX, and then finally BKG7J. Once you enter it correctly, the next button will become enabled. Go ahead and click that on the license terms screen. Read the license agreement. Click to select I accept the license terms, and then click the Next button. On the Which type of installation do you want screen, you can either do an upgrade or a custom install. We're going to do an installation from scratch here, so we'll select Custom Install. On the Where do you want to install Windows screens, we can see here the 20 gigabyte disk that we allocated when we created this virtual machine. Let's unselect Drive Options Advanced. I'm going to create a new partition here. We'll leave it as the full size. Click Apply. Click OK. And we'll format the drive. Click OK again. Here we can see we have the main partition, that's most of the drive, and then we have 350 megabytes that's system reserved. We're going to be installing it on disk 0 partition 2. So we'll leave that highlighted, and then click the Next button. On the Personalize screen, enter a name for the computer. We'll call this Win8 test. You can change the color if you'd like. I'm just going to keep it as the default. Click the next button. Now you can go through and you can use the Express settings here, or you can customize to get more granular and be able to select individual settings. For ease, let's just select Use Express Settings. Now at the Sign into your PC screen, Microsoft wants you to sign in with an email address, and they promise that they won't send you any spam. You can do this if you like, and I probably will here in the next couple days, but for this tutorial I'm not going to do that. To bypass this, we just have to click Don't want to sign in with Microsoft account. Now, again, we're just going to bypass the Microsoft account and create a local account. So to do so, we'll click the local account button. And this is just like it is in the old versions of Windows. You're creating a regular user. I'm just going to call this Jag Tutorials. And then I'll click the Finish button. It's now going to finalize our settings and bring us into the new desktop. Now here we are loaded to the Windows desktop as our user Jag Tutorials. The tiles that we see here are the Metro interface. It was based off what they did with Windows Phone. I'm not going to go into any more detail here on this. I'll save that for a future tutorial where I'll go over some of the new features. This was just to get everybody where they could get it installed and up and running and logged in.